everybody, this is Melanie. Welcome back to Crafting Chaos with Melanie. I hope everybody's doing good today. In today's video, we are going to continue on with our home baker mini album. So we are working on this mini album. In the last video, what did we do? We built the album and we did the back inside cover and the front inside cover. And I have went ahead and done the back two and the middle fins of what we're doing today, and we are going to do the first one. What we're using is Home Baker by Prima. This is the Three Girls Tales. It's a really cute theme, and we are making a dessert album. So I did have a few of these collections, so I'm going to be making 3 books actually. But anyway, what we're going to need today is quite a bit of cardstock. We're going to be doing the middle fins. So what we're going to be doing today is, let me find it. We're going to be doing the middle and then the back. Alright, so all the page setups will be done except for the front page. And then the back and the front covers. So we're just chugging right along. So what you're going to need today is you're going to need a lot of cardstock. Okay, I'm using white cardstock because that's what I had an abundance of. Whatever cardstock that you have, you know, use that, whatever you started with. We are going to be doing 15, we're going to be doing waterfalls in each section of the book. And for all 3 sections, in other words, you're going to need 15, 15, and 15 of each of these, and that is 5 for each section that we're doing. So you're going to need 15 flaps at 6 1/8 by 4 3/4. There's a reason I did the 1/8. You're going to need 15 pockets. You're going to cut these pockets at 7 1/4 by 4 3/4. And then you're going to need 15 small pockets at 7 1/4 by 2 1/4. I will make sure these measurements are in the description because I know reading this can be a little hard. On the first one, the flaps, we're just doing a 1/2 inch score on the 4 3/4 side. Whenever you're doing a pocket, you're always doing a 1/2 inch. So you're going to do a 1/2 inch on each side and then a 1/2 inch on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that right now, just on the cutting, to show you how you can save paper. All right, let's see what we got here. Let me get my handy dandy trimmer. I hope everybody's doing good today. This is actually Sunday when I'm recording this video, and I just got home from work. All right, so I'm using 8 1/2 by 11. Okay. So, the first thing I'm going to do for the flap, alright, so, am I going to do the flap first? No. Okay. You're going to do your flap, so it is 6 1/8 by 3 1/4. So, what you want to do is do your largest measurement on the longest side. Does that make sense? So this is the 11-inch side. I'm sorry, on the smallest side it'll fit. So this is the 8 1/2 by 11. So this is the 8 1/2 side. I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to do 6 1/8. Oh, well, that was my cat, y'all. She is literally trying to jump on my shelves in my craft room. I don't know what she's doing. Okay, let's get back to this. We're going to go 6 1/8. Now, I don't like doing 8ths and 16ths, but that's what we're going to do. So, it's the second tick past the 6th. So, you have this one, which is a 16th. So, we're going to go right there to the 8th. All right? And you're going to keep this sheet right here. All right? So, then you're going to flip it. And the next one's 4 3/4. So 4 3/4, and then 4 3/4. So you get 2 flaps out of one sheet 8.5 by 11. Okay, and remember, you're keeping this. All right, so there's that. All right, now I'm going to get another sheet, and we're going to do our pocket, our large pocket. So the biggest measurement is 7 1/4. So I'm putting this 8.5 by 8, the 8.5 inch in my trimmer, and I'm doing 7 1/4. Okay. We're not using this right now for this book. We might come back and use something. I always put them in my scraps because I stamp on them. I do a lot of stamping on my scraps. So then we're going to flip it around, and we're going to do 4 3/4. And like the last one, you're going to get 2 out of this. So 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. All right, so put that to the side. Now you have this one long sheet left over from your first one, and we're going to do the small pocket. So the small pocket is 2 1/4, and I believe this is right at 2 1/4. It is literally right at 2 1/4. So you want to do 2 1/4 by 7 1/4. All right, so you're going to do 15 of these. You're going to do 15 flaps, 15 large pockets, 15 small pockets, okay? All right, so I'm done with my trimmer. Okay, wait a minute. All right, this trimmer has a score on it. I'm not going to use this because I want to show you the scoreboard, because a lot of people don't have a trimmer with the score. So what I will tell you, however you start scoring these items, these 15, which is actually 45 sheets of paper, score it with the same tool. I preach this all the time. So I'm going to score with my scoreboard. Maybe. Guys, I just have my scoreboard. It's literally right in front of me. It's literally right in front of me. Okay, so I'm going to start with, I'm going to flip these over. Now make sure you get these right. What I would do is assembly line style. I would do all my flaps, then I would do my large pocket and my small pocket, okay? So we're going to go to this, to the flap that's 6 1/8 by 4 3/4. So let's put it in there. There's 6 1/8 by 4 3/4. So on the 4 3/4 side, we're going to score a 1/2 inch. And there you got your flap. Okay? So we got one more. You're going to put it in here on the 4 3/4, and we're going to score at a 1/2. Now we got our large pockets. Okay? I like to put it in on the 7 1/4 side. So whenever you're doing the large pocket, it's the 7 1/4 by 4 3/4. So on that 7 1/4 side, you want to score a 1/2 inch and 6 3/4. A 1/2 inch and 6 3/4. Flip it, and then score a 1/2 inch. So whenever you're doing the pocket, you're leaving one long side not scored. So the two sides are a 1/2 inch, and this side's a 1/2 inch. All right, so you can either do it a 1/2 inch and 6 3/4, or you could do a 1/2 inch, flip it, and do a 1/2 inch. Okay, so let's do that again. We got the 7 1/4 side, so let me do it this way. We got a 1/2 inch. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to do a 1/2 inch. I'm going to flip it and do a 1/2 inch. All right, so we got our two pockets. Okay. Our two large pockets. Now let's do our small pocket, and I only cut one of these out, okay? So the small pocket is the exact same way. We're going to put the 7 1/4 in. We're going to score at a 1/2 inch. I'm going to flip it and score at a 1/2 inch. I'm going to turn it and score at a 1/2 inch. There you go. All right, I'm done with the scoreboard. Now we need to get You know, guys, I shouldn't be doing this video on a Sunday. I don't see my bone folder anywhere, and I just had it, but that's okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to burnish all these score lines, okay? So you just want to make sure that you've got them burnished down really good. How I do it, you're going to feel a bumpy side and an indented side. I'm going to take the bumpy side and I'm going to fold it over the indented side, and that's how you do that. That's how I do it. Everybody does it different, but that is what I am doing. And here it is. It was right exactly where it was supposed to be. I put it up, y'all. So you just want to make sure these are down really good. All right. So doing the same thing here. Okay. Now we are going to take our pockets, okay, and I'm going to miter it or cut this out. See, you see this right here. So I'm using green on this one. And see what we're doing? We're going to cut this right here. That's all we're doing. You want to make sure to cut that out. You know, once you start doing this, you can't really mess it up. And we're going to do the other small pocket. Okay, so now we got that. So, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I am going to show you an alternative to this at the end of the video that I thought of after I made my first two fins. And I don't want to do it right now because I don't want to confuse you. So I would wait till the end of the video. I would watch this video all the way through before I tried to make this. Alright, so what we're going to do, I inked the edges. Do you see that? We're going to flip these over and I'm going to put double stick tape. So yes, this is going to be a pocket, and yes, I'm using double stick tape because if you watch me, you know I usually don't use tape on pockets, but there is a reason I'm doing this. Okay. I am a part of May's folios, and there's one of the folios that she did that she did a waterfall this way. And I didn't do my waterfall the way she did it. I just did it the way I always do a pocket. Okay? I thought, I'm not doing that. I've got my way. I'm going to do it my way, which is fine. And she would tell you that. We all have our ways. But when I did my first waterfall, I didn't like how it was off. It wasn't lining up the way I thought it should line up. And I figured out why. And you guys probably know this. You're like, duh, Melanie. Duh, duh, duh. And honestly, it didn't click. Okay. Usually when we're doing pockets, alright, the only way to make this make sense is just to show you. Most of the time when you're doing a pocket, you're doing it directly on the page like this. Most of the time. You're not taking a pocket and adding it to another mechanic, another piece of paper. Right? Like this. Whenever you score, especially when you're scoring all these scores right here, what is that going to do? It's going to make the paper a little bit shorter. It's going to be off. It's not going to be perfect. It's just not. So you could do two things. Instead of cutting this a 7 1/8, or yeah, 7 1/8, right? No, 7 1/4. Instead of cutting this 7 1/4, you could go a little bit shorter. Then I thought, wait a minute. I saw May do this in a folio class. I wonder if this will help it work better. Okay. Now I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, okay? And then we'll move along. But I want to show you this. I want to show you my reasoning for this. This was the first waterfall that I did, right here. And it's off. And I can tell that it's off. I see it. Now, the normal person might not, but I do. And I'm going to show you where it's off. Right here. Even inking it, I can see we're off right here. Do you see this? Again, right here, it's off. Again, right here, it's off. I can see those. I can see that. I don't like it. It doesn't look smooth. It doesn't look polished. And I didn't like it. So, moving to the middle. I did it May's way. I thought, let's try this. Now, look at this, how polished. And if you look at the sides, it's all polished. Do you see that? And that is why we're going to do this differently, okay? So, in putting these together, you're going to need your flip, you're going to need your large pocket, and your small pocket. The small pocket, I didn't do double stick tape, okay? Just the big pocket. We're going to go use the liquid glue on this one. The reason being, there is nothing that's going to come into contact with this tape other than this flap. In other words, whenever we fold this over, the tape is going behind this. So this is what we're doing. We're doing the pocket on the outside. So we're taking the score over the flap, okay? Taking the score over the flap. That is why I made this 1/8 of an inch shorter, because I found it fit kind of tight and it bulged a little bit. So it was easier to make this one 6 1/8, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, it was easier to make the flap 6 1/8, which is 1/8 inch shorter. And then center this on there. And it goes on like a dream. Alright, so let me show you the trick of this. Here's your flap. You see that? This is the front of the album. This is the front of the way it's going to go on. So this is going to flap up. Alright? So the pocket is going to go this way. So what I like to do, I like to ink my edges, and I put the tape on the back of where the edges are inked. I know this is the front and this is the back. Okay? I'm going to flip the back over. I'm going to take my tape off. Alright. Now, I'm going to take my flap and it's backwards. Do you see that? So the ink and the ink are like this. And I'm going to take this and I am just going to put this in here, centering it in the middle there, because remember, this is a little bit shorter. Let me show you what I'm doing here. See, it's a little bit shorter on each side. So we're going to take this, butt it up against that bottom score line and fold it up. Fold that over, fold that over. Look how easy that is. And then you have your pocket right here. Do you see that? I love it. I love it. Then we're going to flip this over and we're going to take this pocket. Now this pocket, it is going to come in contact. This is going to come in contact with what we're going to put in there. So I'm using my art glitter glue and I'm just going to glue this. I'm going to take it to the corner here, making sure I don't go over it. Okay, I don't want to go over this. And now we're going to glue this. And we're just going to bring it up. We're going to bring this side up over here. And this here. Whenever you're using liquid glue, remember to burnish really good because you want it to make contact. Alright, so there we go. There you go. I come over just a little bit. That's only because I didn't pay attention. Alright, so let's just do the pocket again. You got your pocket. You're going to flip it over. We got our flap. We're going to flip it over. We're going to take this strip off, strip off, strip off. We're going to take our flap and we're going to put it in here. There you go. Okay, now let's get the book out. All right, so we got our book and we're going to this middle fin. And before we build it, we need to put some paper here. So the piece of paper I chose was this right here. So we know our album is 7.5 by 7 3/4, right? No, it's 8. It's 7.5 on the pages, or 7 3/4 by 8. So to get a mat here, we're going to do 7.5, right? Make sure this is right. Yeah, your mat's going to be 7.5. Wow. 7.5 by 7 3/4. Let me write that down on my paper here. Mats 7.5 by 7 3/4, and you're going to need 2 of those. Alright, so let me show you what we're going to do here. Let's get our trimmer. First thing I'm going to do is trim this paper down. Let's get this paper trimmed down and get that band off. Okay. I want this paper to go seamlessly between the 2 pages, all right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my height. I don't want to disturb this part. This is the part I want to keep, right? So I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do my height. And my height is what? 7 3/4. So we're going to come right here and we're going to cut 7 3/4. And then we're going to flip it and it's 7.5. So we're going to come here to the mouse, 7.5. And it leaves us this, all right? So let's show you what we're going to do with this. I'm going to flip it over. You got the floral on the back. Let's see here. I'm going to go to my paper. And I've got one that I've been working on. I don't want this to go to waste, so I'm going to cut a sheet of paper out to go on this. I like the green, I think. Which one do you like? Nah, I think it's this one. You're not going to see a lot of it because of the waterfall, because the waterfall is going to go on this one. So, this piece of paper it's the right height. Let's see how wide it is. It is 4.5. And we know we need 7.5, right? So, what am I going to do? I'm going to come up here. Did we decide on the green? Yeah, I think we're going to do the green. Oh, I hate messing this mouse up, guys. I hate that. All right, so first thing we're going to do is cut 7.5. Let's take this off. Let's go to the 12 and take this one off. Let's see where that's going to cut. 7.5. Let's just do it. We still got a little bit of the mouse. It'll be all right. And then we're going to do 3, right? Let's do a little bit more than 3. I'm going to do this side. I'm going to keep those flowers. A little bit more than 3. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with these flowers. Keep the flowers. Keep everything. Don't throw anything away. This paper pack, I mean, for an album this size, it's not a lot of paper. Alright, so when I put this in the album, I want it to go this way. So I want this side to go here, right? I cut that wrong, guys. Are you kidding me? How did I do that? Wow. right. I'm just going to take this sheet. That's probably the sheet I should have used in the first place. Let's do this again. I don't know how I cut that wrong. So the height is 7 3/4. The height is 7 3/4. So let me show you what we're going to do. I don't want the floral on that side. I want this. I want it to go like this right here. So I'm going to get Scotch tape. Let's see. Do we have some Scotch tape here? Guys, I am so sorry. You know what? That's okay. If you have Scotch tape, use Scotch tape. Apparently, I don't know where my Scotch tape is. So we're going to flip this over and we're going to glue this right down the side there. So what I'm going to do is just use this. This is what I got handy, my double stick tape. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure this is pressed up against itself like that. And I'm going to take this double stick tape and I'm just going to continue just putting that on. So this looks like one sheet of paper. This is such a good way to use your scraps, guys. Do you see that? It's going to go like that. So now we need to make this 7 1/2. Let's go right here and trim this down to 7 1/2. There we go. All right, let's put this in here, and I am just going to use liquid glue. I'm going to use my art glitter glue, and I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to use this. And I'll just take that off. That's just some extra tape I have there. If you have Scotch tape, use Scotch tape. I have Scotch tape, and that's what I used on the other two, but I don't know what to do with it. Lining that up. Making sure everything has got full contact. Look. Isn't that pretty? I love this. Now, I love this little mouse here, and I'm not covering that mouse up right now. We're going to work on this page right here. All right, so we're going to do our waterfall. So let's bring in our pockets. Now we got here is 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I need to put one more together, guys. Doing this really quick, y'all. I'm sorry. I needed one more on here. Okay, there we go. All right, 5. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Let's bring this in. We're going to take this, our first one, and we're just going to put this. Now, I'm not taking it directly to the top. I am using art glitter glue. You can use whatever you want here. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up and do this. Making sure y'all see me. And I'm going to put it about, I would say about a 1/2 inch from the top. Okay, now I'm going to come in here with my second one. I'm going to put glue on that flap. We're going to flip this one up, and then we're just going to line up these flaps. Now, this one, you just got to line up right here. You're going to line up this and this. That's where you got to pay attention, because this inside's a little bit shorter because of the way we did it. Okay? Put this here. And this is why I like using art glitter glue, because it gives you you have a few seconds to move it around. Let's see how we're doing. That looks pretty daggone good, guys. All right. All right, and then we're doing our fifth one. Okay. And there you go. All right. One of these is off just a little bit. This one's off just a little bit. That's okay. All right, look what you got. I'm going to glue this down just a little bit more. Didn't get enough glue there. You know, I get on screen and I try to, I don't know, make it a little bit shorter, and I need to just slow down. If you don't want to watch it, you can fast forward it. Okay, looky there. We got our waterfall. It's not perfect. I did get off a little bit right here, but you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm just going to come here and see if I can score it to make it go a little bit better. And I did. Look how perfect. But you see what I'm talking about? The edges, how clean the edges are there? They're clean. Look at that. As opposed to this one. You can see it right through there. Okay, so let's do our little flap here. What we're going to do for a belly band. All right. Whenever I do the belly band, guys, I just get scrap paper. And I got some right here. I got this right here. And this will work perfect. So we're just going to cut 2 inches. So this paper that I messed up, we're going to cut 2 inches wide. And this is how I did this. I just cut this 2 inches wide. Okay. Then where do I want this? I want it about right there. So all I did was take it where I wanted it. Let's see how tall this is. This is 7.5. So it's way too big. You don't need 7.5. Honestly, I'd say probably 6.5 would be just fine. So let's take this down. Let's take it down to 7. This is 7.5. I'm going to take it down to 7. Actually, I'm going to take it down to 6.5. So cut a strip. I mean, if you want measurements, 2 inches by 6.5. Okay. So then what we're going to do is I'm just going to take this under here. Where do I want it? About right there, probably. About right here. About right there. And that's what I did. So, at 5 3/4, score it. That's where it's falling on me. And then I'm going to take my brown ink, not my green. I'm going to use brown on this. The ink that I'm using is S'mores and Hot Tub by Catherine Fuller. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue right here. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to just glue it to that bottom back cover right here. So we're gluing it to that last flap. Do you see that? Now, this is where you can do one of two things. You could glue this down, have this a stationary pocket, which I'll tell you that's exactly what I did here. It's glued down. This last pocket does not move. Or you can leave it like this, however you want to do it. Okay? I did use a scallop punch on the ends here. So, you know, if you want to make your ends fancy, whatever punch you have, I like that. I think that adds a little bit to it. And now we're going to take a couple of magnets. I haven't used a lot of magnets in this, but I am using it on the waterfall. So the first one, let's bring this here, and I'm just going to put it over just a little bit. I'm not even measuring. I'm just not doing it at the end. I don't want it at the end. I put a little bit of glue. Then I'm going to take a little bit of tape, like right there. Yep. Then I'm going to take my other one, stick it, and then we're going to bring it right here. Just going to hold that a minute. And it's not going to stick, it's going to come back up, but you have a good impression of where it's supposed to be. So I'm just going to stick that there and stick this here. So there you go. Now, let me show you how we did the pockets. I forgot to do the pockets. So on the small pockets, you can do this before you put it in or you can do it after you put it in. It just really, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put my art glitter glue on this bottom piece. Okay, I'm going to flip this over and it's going to go right here. Okay, so I'm going to come right here and I'm going to glue this piece down. Now, when I'm gluing this piece down, I'm not going all the way to that score mark right here. You don't want to butt it up against that score mark. You want to come up about 1/16 of an inch because it will interfere with the flap. Okay, and you don't want that. You do not want that flap interference. So I'm going to hold that down just a second and let that glue attach. And then all you do is go through, I'm not going to do this on screen, but you just go through and you add your bottom one. So let's just do one more. We're going to put some glue. Now listen, whenever you're putting this on the bottom, the key is making sure you come right above that score mark. You want to come right above it. You could use Scotch tape here if you'd like. I didn't have any interference with what we're going to put in here, so I was fine with it, okay? So bringing that up, and we're just going to pinch that for a second, make sure it's got good contact, and then you just go through and you do the rest of them. I'll do the rest of those off screen. Okay, now what do I want to do? Do I want to glue this down? Yeah, I'm just going to glue this down because I did the other ones. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to. I'm gluing this last one down. I'm not making it to where it can move. So by doing that, you only need 4 pockets, so 12. You only need 12 small pockets, not 15. I will correct that. Okay, so you got that. All right, so let's do this front cover really quick. All right, let's use this green. Yeah, we're going to use the green. So this is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. That's what these are. It's the perfect photo mat for 4 by 6. Let me show you. See, 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I want 6 by 4 for this to cover this part up. Okay. So we're just going to use what we got in our stash already cut out. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm going to use the green. All right, so let's cut this out. We're going to cut this out 4 by 6. So we're going to go 6 by 4. And bring this over, and that will work perfect right there. Now this one I'm going to use brown. This brown and this greenish blue go so good together. I love it. I love it. All right, so we got that inked. We're going to take this off, and I'm just going to use some art glitter glue. And we're going to stick this down right here. Okay. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Okay, now we want to decorate this a little bit. So let me show you what I got here. I'll link the video to this, but this is my ephemera binder that I made. I think I made this sometime last year. I will show you. I have a video on how I did this and why I did it. And with all these collections, it's such a good way to put your ephemera in and see it. I find if you don't see your ephemera, you don't use it. So let's go back over here to, this is our ephemera. So what I want to do is I want to build a little scene here, okay? So I love this little book. So let's pull the little book out. Let's do a little wooden spoon. I'm just pulling some stuff out, y'all. We're going to do the wooden spoon. Let's do the cake. Maybe this, that. I don't have a little mouse. Okay, let's try that. Let's see what we got here. Let's try this. All right, so I just pulled a bunch of stuff out. And what we're going to do is build a cluster. We're going to build a cluster right here. So, let's see what we got here. We got this. I really like that, and I really like the cake. So, I know I want to do this. Then maybe pull this out. Actually, do it like that. I really don't want the flowers to show. I just want the mixer to show. And then we got this. Actually, let's bring this down like that. And then got this. Cake. See, this is where I just, sometimes I struggle with this. Oh, that's pretty. Ooh, I like that. Do that. And do this. Ooh, I like that. And then maybe come over here and do that. Oh, yeah. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. And then bring this over here like that. Bring this over. What do you think? I like it. I just want a cluster. I just want a cluster. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I am going to get my press and seal here. This is a little secret of the trade. And if you get your press and seal, you just pick this up. Look, I got it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some glue. Okay. Now we're going to take this and we're just going to put this back on there. I did forget to, I forgot to ink the edges on this. So, that part I did forget. Alright, and then you just want to work with it. You have it all glued, so now we're just going to bring it up and down. Oh, ain't that pretty? I love it. And then you're just going to feel, where do you need glue? We need some glue right there. And we need some glue right here. And I'm going to pull that little piece off. And there you go. Now we have this little thing here, so I just want another piece of ephemera. Let's see what we got here. I just need a little piece of ephemera for this. Look at this mouse, how cute. Are you kidding me? Oh, that mouse fits perfect right there. And we could cut off. You know what? We're going to use the mouse. Let me show you what we're going to do. Let's see. Am I getting this in camera? I think I am. Yeah. Here, let me. We're going to glue this mouse down, right down the middle, because this is well over 2 inches. We're going to put this little mouse here, and then I'm going to pull this over, and I'm just going to trim it. Just going to trim that little mouse. It's a little harder to trim than I thought. And there's your little mouse. Okay, now real quick, guys, this is getting to be a long video. All right, my stamp set from May is still MIA. Don't know where it is. So instead of making recipe cards, I went to Hobby Lobby and I bought some. And these are measuring mixes. It was $1.99 for 25. I got several packs so I could have them. Then I just inked the edges. Okay, I'm going to ink all these edges. So let me show you what this does. This is so cool. You have a pocket, and they slide right down in the pocket, right? And then you have a pocket. And they go right in that pocket as well. Well, there. So, for each one of these, you have the potential of 3. If you want to do 3, 1, or yeah, on the first one it's 2. On these it would be 3. It would be 1, 2, and the one in the pocket. But what I am doing is I'm taking a picture, and right here it is. This is Chewy Charlie's. This is a favorite of ours. It comes down from my mom. It's a Christmas. We do it every Christmas, and then when we have a sweet tooth, we do it. And put the recipe and the picture. I just think that's so pretty. And these, you might say you can't see anything. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with, you know, just going down in here and getting it out because it's so loose. It fits really good. If you don't like that and you want a hole, you could get a hole punch and just do a hole punch on the front part of the pocket. But when you do that, you have to make sure, like when you mat the first one, you have to do that. So I didn't want to fool with that. If you do, you can do that. Okay, what do you think on that? I hope this wasn't confusing. So there's the first one. Here's the second one. And here's the third one. To me, my third one's a hot mess. I don't like it, except for this. I love that. Look at that mason jar. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're going to go ahead and do one more thing. We're going to do the back. And let me show you what I did on the back. Again, this is what, 7.5 by 7 3/4 is your mat. And I'm using coffee stain paper. I'm not using my paper for this. I'm going to show you why. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my, let's see here. This is a little raggedy. So let's cut this raggedy off. So it is 7.5 wide. So I'm going to do my 7.5. And then I'm doing my 7 3/4. Guys, you have freedom here to do what you want. If you're not a coffee stain paper and you don't like that, then by all means use whatever paper you're using, whatever you want to do. I really like the coffee stain paper. I think it brings a vintage to it, and I like it. So all I'm doing here is just inking the edges. Now, whenever I do my coffee stain paper, I like using glue stick. Alright, so let me get my glue stick here. This is Simon Says. I have Simon Says. I have Oohoo. This was free. I have Tombow. To me, they all work the same, guys. I have yet to experience any of the three being better, or, you know, it's a glue stick. But with coffee stain paper, I like the glue stick. All right, so let's open this up. Making sure we put it. Now, we are going to come in here and we are going to just get that really good, making sure that glue stick is really adherent to that paper. Okay? And the great thing, if you get a little bit of wrinkles, it's all right. Doesn't matter. Adds to the charm. So now what we're going to do is a tuck. So here I cut out flowers and it's a tuck. Here I used a piece of the paper that we cut. This came off the back cover. Okay, so let's find something for here. Let's see here. We have the little mouse. That's small, but that would be cute there. I love this one. I think we might use that. Is that what we... No, it's different. What do you think? I like that one. This one I think is too tall. That one's too tall. Or, remember this piece? Oh, guys. Okay, this wins. This, I don't know. That mouse looks cute. I wish you could talk to me right now. I wish you could say, Melanie, Melanie. But you know what? We're going to use this. So I'm going to loosely cut this out. And what I mean, I'm not going to make a big fuss about it. I'm just going to go around where I think it will bring its shape. Okay? Not being too precise with the details. It's not that big of a deal. If you notice, whenever you're cutting stuff out like this, you move your paper. You're just gliding along with your scissors. But that paper is what is allowing you to trim. If you notice that, I'm just wiggling that paper around. And I am not caring, not being crazy precise with this. Just giving it the shape. Isn't this pretty? Oh my goodness. There we go. Yep. That was the perfect. So I'm going to ink this. I don't want any of those white edges showing. And I'm not reloading this. I'm just using what's on my... Okay. So I'm going to use art glitter glue. And I want it down here and down the bottom. I want all this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my fingers where I'm not gluing. I'm not gluing any of this. I'm going straight down and straight across. And I'm going to take this and line this up to the edge of the coffee stain paper. Letting that come down. I love this. I think this is so pretty. There you go. Isn't that pretty? And look. Now, I don't like this stark white. That's why I ink the edges and everything, but look at that. Isn't that pretty? I love this. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, so you're going to do your 3 middle fins. So the middle of the first section, then the back. Then you take your second one, you got the middle and the back. Your third section, you got the middle and the back. Okay. I wanted to show you a quick alternative, okay? Let me show you this really quick, what I'm talking about. Some of you are not going to like this, and I understand. Some of you are not going to like the fact that this is all even and you have to dig in here to get the paper and you don't see it, right? We talked about the hole. Let me show you something else really quick. And honestly, I didn't think of this until today when I started the video, right before I was getting ready for the video. So, follow me. This is your flip. We're going to leave the flip the way it is. Everything's the same. Your pocket, this pocket folded. Well, let's just do it unfolded. It doesn't even matter. We cut this at 4 3/4. So we're going to come up here and cut this at 4 1/4. Actually, let's cut it at 4. We're going to make it a lot shorter. So we're going to do a 4 by 7 1/4, and then score. Okay, so let me show you what that gives you. Let's just see what this looks like. I haven't done it. I'm doing this with you right now. My thoughts on this, I think it'll do good for what I'm thinking, and you could use more paper. Let me show you what I'm saying. All right, so then you want to take your flip over. You come here. Guys, I know this was a long video, but you see that? So then you take your recipe card, you put the recipe card in, and you see the card. What do you think? I don't know, I kind of like it. I kind of like it. You see that? Everything's the same, but this is different. So, if you like this way, right, what you're going to do on the pocket part, the pocket, you're going to cut a 1/2 inch off the bottom. You're going to make it a 1/2 inch shorter and then do your scoring. So, instead of it being 4 3/4, it would be 4 1/4, and then you're going to score a 1/2 inch, and then that's what you get. That's actually kind of cool. I like that. So there's an alternate. There you go. I kind of like that. I might do this one in my second book that I make, but that is an option, okay? All right, guys, I know this video was long, and I'm sorry, but I wanted to get this all done and show you. Again, I will have in the description all the measurements, and I will even put the measurements for this style. If you want to try this style, I really like this style. So, yeah. I might do a short on this. I think we can do 3-minute shorts. I might do one. But look, there we go. It's starting to come. All right, and then you have this right here. We're getting there. This is a big album. All right, guys, I hope you like this video. Remember, give me a like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye.